Gold just had its worst pullback of the entire cycle, down 25% from its January record of over $5,600, breaking below 4,000 for the first time since November of last year. The culprit? Probably rate cuts getting priced out. CPI print was 4.2% in May. The new Fed chair came in hawkish, and the market is now pricing in a 70% chance of a rate hike by December. But here's the wild part. Goldman Sachs just slashed their price target by $500, and they're still calling for a 20% upside move from here. jpmorgan and Bank of America are around 6,000. Wells Fargo is the street high target at 6,300. That's 54% above where gold trades right now. Not a single major bank has a target below the current spot price. Let's check out potential option skew and implied volatility markers in different cycles on this edition of the Options Math Check. Gold, 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 Jamal. What do you think? Is this the end for gold, or are we going to move higher from here?
Well, at this point, I'm just going to talk my book. I mean, you were sitting right here yesterday when I got long. I like doing things around psychological levels. That is part of it. But I think these have really gotten rocked more recently. The dynamics of gold have changed. You mentioned the idea of skew. I mean, for a while there, when it was running up like crazy, skew got flat, right? And that's weird for gold. Like equities, we always talk about skews to the downside, of course. It bears saying once again, which we've said a million times, skews to the upside in gold, because gold typically crashes up, which literally that's what we saw for the end of the year to the beginning of this year. And it's been a swift fall. And look, we always talk about how the markets don't repeat, but they do rhyme. I do remember a similar action that happened, I think it was around 2011. I probably should get my story straight what year it was. I think it was 2011, 2012, when you saw a huge move up in gold and you saw the pullback. And this is the similar type of pullback. It was 2011, by the way. And it was into the end of 2011, we saw the huge move. And then eventually we saw a pullback. It was over some time period. And yeah, I mean, you know, it got quiet. It's not like it continued to just destroy itself, but eventually it leveled out. I don't know if we're going to see the type of move that we saw last year. I'm not calling for that. I'm just calling for a near-term bounce, and that's why I decided to get long gold yesterday via MGC.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, when you look at this chart, this is a monthly chart for the last 20 years. To your point, right, in 2011, you had that initial run-up, but like this move has been clearly the biggest upside move in a short amount of time that we've seen. Does that mean, you know, we should be falling back down to the, you know, 2,500, 2,000 levels? I don't think so. And when you look at skew, like gold's always going to have some kind of call skew, because the lower gold gets, like gold's always going to have some kind of value. Same thing with silver. Same thing with, you know, crude oil, as long as we're using it. But I think gold, like the further it falls, the more you could even see that call skew get emphasized. We've talked about how moves to the upside can give us call skew in some of these high flying tech stocks, but gold has a perceived floor. So like as it goes down, you're going to start to see even more call skew get infused into there. So I think when you look at gold futures and just looking at a couple of implied volatility markers here, if we look at GLD, just kind of our continuous moving product here. Mm-hmm. If we look at, let's just say like August, 57 days from now, when you look at implied volatility and probabilities of being in the money, if we go, let's say 25 points below the market price right now at 340 and 25 points below or above the market price at 390, you can see here there's $1 more premium in the 390 strike relative to the 340 strike, and significantly higher implied volatility in terms of the probability of being in the money. So right here, even just the next 60 days, you see call skew into this sell-off, where normally in a regular equity market like the E-minis or the NASDAQ, if you had a sell-off this aggressive in that same product, you would see put skew in that market. So I think it's really interesting to still see call skew here. And I think if you're placing bullish trades, like we say before, you know, if you have bullish trades on in a call skew market, you're taking advantage of that because you have the ability to sell more premium on the upside and reduce cost basis more aggressively than that downside premium.
And two things I think it bears mentioning. I just thought about this. We always talk about other ETFs that are commodity-based, USO, SLV, or whatever. I think people, I don't know if people realize, but GLD is one of those where we don't worry about skew contango because it doesn't use the futures. It uses a physical asset. I think SLV is kind of the same way. So you don't have to worry about that situation, right? We were talking the other day about somebody who had a USO trade and they were trying to figure out like what they want to do with their trade, but it's something to think about when there's contango and backwardation. We just talked about how they just went back to flat for USO more recently, for CL, thus USO more recently. But GLD is backed by the physical asset, so you don't have to worry about any contango or any backwardation, and it's usually not that much currently anyway. The other thing is, it bears mentioning what's going on with the dollar. Obviously, that's one of the things that has caused this pullback in gold more recently, and the dollar staying sticky because of inflation. We just got inflation reading. Again, the Fed's preferred inflation reading, which apparently came in kind of weak, and that's why the market took off a little bit more. I bring this up to say, I don't even know the relationship between gold and inflation anymore. I really don't. Because for the last 2 years, it's been all over the place. But the one thing you can hang your hat on is what's going on with the dollar versus gold, I feel. And so I think that's really what determines how you feel from here. Maybe for the next year, is the dollar going to go up because we're going to have more inflation, or is it not? And we're going to get maybe somewhat of a bounce in gold. I think that's just the one thing to watch. But honestly, for me yesterday, it was just like, look, this thing has been tanking, and it went through 4,000. I feel like that's a level. Let's try and buy it. So far, it's holding up.
Yeah. And I think when it comes down to trading this thing, if you want to trade gold futures, there's plenty of expirations in this near-term Q contract. But if you wanted to get even more long-term, playing for a longer-term bounce here, going to the V contract, like long September, short August, I kind of like that idea. If you're using the futures here, it's going to be expensive for sure if you're using these futures products. But if you have the capital and that's your assumption, you can reduce basis and get into a nice trade here where you're playing that upside, taking advantage of that skew. I'll probably look at GLD just for sizing perspective, but like even here, same story. You can get long September at the money, 370, and then you can get short July or August against it at like 390, 400, and still have a nice trade here. This is a 30-point wide diagonal spread for $1,300. So I'm going to look at something like this on the open. I think it makes a lot of sense to try and take a nibble here to the upside, especially with the call skew infused here. And real quick, before we go to break, just looking at the end of year. So we saw the call skew there in the next couple of months. Just looking at 320 expected move. What is that? 45 points to the downside and 410 to the upside. Same story. You've got way more premium here, way more probability of being in the money here. So the velocity of risk is still to the upside, even though we've seen kind of a liquidation event in gold and silver, and the dollar is ripping higher at the same time. But yeah, let us know what you think in the YouTube chat. But I think I'm going to get into a gold call diagonal spread here, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, we're going to take a quick break. We'll see you on the other side of it. You're watching Tasty Live.